Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into a very special 2-hour edition of FanStream Sports. Live from the DSP Media Podcast Studios in North Dallas, I'm IndyCarTim, your host, joined as I always am from way up in Columbus, Ohio, just a stone's throw from Muirfield Village. Almost said Valley. Muirfield
That'd been
Village.
about right for you. That'd been about right if you said Valley. I think different of you now because you remember what Muirfield Village is. So I think most people know by now. If you say Valley, they know what you mean.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
So yes, we've got a 2-hour show because Johnny had golf duty on Monday. We could not recap the Memorial because he was like at the course most of the time over the weekend. Probably had a few adult beverages and a few adult conversations with some of the boys out there. So we're going to double up for you here today on Wednesday, June 7th, and we are going to recap the Memorial. We're going to talk a little bit about the LIV Golf PGA Tour DP World Tour merger. Johnny's got some hot opinions about that. And also, of course, preview the RBC Canadian Open for you coming up this week. But first things first, Johnny, how was your weekend out at Memorial?
Boy, I tell you what, it was just a special weekend. We were very fortunate that, we did some really cool encore stuff with some local radio stations here. ESPN 97.1 The Fan. They're hospitable to us, hosting their Saturday show a little bit for 30, 45 minutes, letting us on. Had some really good picks over the weekend and also on Sunday morning. So no, it was a great event. And, it's just, it's as many times as you and I talk, we talk about, I love Columbus. It was one of the greatest places to grow up. I really do. I affirm that. I feel that way. But as I come back, you hear me a little bit saying, I kind of dog it a little bit, which is not really the right way to say it. But I will tell you what, for any city in the country, Columbus, Ohio, when the Memorial comes in town, man, it is full on red carpet, man. And it is, they come out. I was there Monday when we talked about it on the Monday show. And on Wednesday, I was out there. So I was there Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. Went out there a little bit on Thursday. But even on Monday, Memorial Day, I bet there was 30, 40,000 people out there on Monday. Wednesday for the Pro-Am, which was really cool. Had some really cool celebrities out there that played in for Workday as a Memorial was sponsored by Workday. Man, it was awesome. I haven't really seen the count yet, but probably through the week, there was probably 400, 500,000 people there total for the week. And I just tell you what, Columbus, Ohio, when it comes to a PGA tournament, it's almost like an Ohio State game, right? They really come out and they really support, and they've done this for years. They've really supported this tournament, and there's a lot of things. It's a testament to Jack. It's a testament to the golf course. It's a testament to everything going on Memorial, man. And it was really a great week. And, to be honest with you, and this is how you love it and I love it, the golf course won, man. And that was something to where that place played as hard of a golf course and as hard like a U.S. Open that you're ever going to see on a regular PGA Tour event. And Jack was just sitting up there on his perch, just smiling, because this is exactly how he wanted it.
And that's how it should be. Seven under won the tournament in a playoff.
6 under. Was it 7 or 6?
It was 7.
7. Okay.
Yeah, it was 7 under.
And I told you at the beginning of the week, I didn't think there would be anywhere chance that somebody gets to double digits. And I thought 8 would win, right?
Yeah.
So we were right spot on when it came to that. And we didn't really do well on our matchups. And we'll talk about on our overall picks. We'll talk about that in a bit. But we did fantastic on our matchups. It got us to a record that's really unprecedented in anything in the golf handicapping world. And I was out there doing a show on Sunday morning before the leaders came on that teed off, and a lot of guys came on. It was a 3-hour show hosted by Jeff Thidoff, 97.1 The Fan, Sunday Sports Day, and Jen. And they had some handicappers out there. Like,
did you tell Jen
really,
I said what's up?
Yeah. But really thought they were handicappers. Like, quote, they said, "Oh, I know golf and I bet golf," and they were with some gaming sites that we're not going to say now, but hopefully next week we'll be able to talk about it a little bit with some opportunities. But I was just sitting there debating with these guys, and they had some ideas, and I'm just like, you guys have no idea about golf. Like, you have no idea about golf and matchups. And they were like, "Oh, my record is, I'm 22 and 20 and 5, right? 22, 20 and 5. I'm like, okay, so you lost money because you got to pay the juice, right? So you've lost money. And once we got on the air on Sunday, it was pretty funny. They posted out my record before the Sunday, and it was 52, 16 and 5. And they were like, huh? 52, 16 and I said, yeah, I mean, I'll show you all the betting slips, 52, 16 and 5 in matchups. And there was like, no way. I was like, listen, I'll show it to you. And I went down my list of my betting receipts, and they were like, dude, this is crazy.
That's how you gamble golf right there.
I mean, and I told, and they were like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And I was like, okay. I said, no, go get me a drink. Get me a drink. So no, it was a great experience, man. This was the first time I had kind of been on live radio, TV up there for the tournament.
Sure. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it was cool, man. It was like I said, it was a really cool experience. And again, thanks for 97.1 The Fan and some of the other ESPN affiliates around the country that had me on to talk about the Memorial, and hopefully we can continue to do it over the next few weeks.
But a good time was out there. I feel like a couple of guys that maybe have been on your list recently. I don't remember Hovland maybe very recently, but McCarthy, I want to say, has kind of been on your list here recently. So, I mean, Hovland, of course, in a one-hole playoff over Denny McCarthy, who just took the one-hole playoff. $3.6 million go to Hovland. He hasn't won since 2021, right? I think this is his first win in a couple of years.
Well, he's never won on PGA on soil, U.S. soil.
Sure.
Right. So he's had a lot of European Tour wins. But, when we talked about it at the beginning of the week, this golf course was playing so firm and fast, it allowed some of the shorter hitters on the PGA Tour to kind of compete a little bit. I'm not saying Victor Hovland is one of the shorter hitters, but if you look at going into Sunday, the top 20 people on the leaderboard, 14 of the 20 were some of the shortest hitters on the PGA Tour. Shortest hitters. So that really lends to a bunched up leaderboard, and it has a lot of opportunities. Denny McCarthy is the best putter in the world. I mean, listen, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. When the PGA Tour guys tell him that says he's the best putter on the PGA Tour and in the world, he is. Fact. But he's one of the shorter hitters. But as firm and fast as that golf course was playing, it worked right into his hands, man. Those greens are running 13, 14. The fairways were probably running 10 and 11. Yeah. And, and the rough was probably 5 inches, 6 inches. So, man, it was just a great week, and this is exactly how Jack wanted it.
Well, and Jack won like he usually does. Of course, he was sitting there. Hovland got the handshake that everybody cherishes that they're all looking for when they go out there. And Hovland, for as much as we've given him crap lately, he's been playing pretty well. 7, what did he have? Top 7 finishes in each of the last 3 majors. Yeah. And for all the fun that we make of him and his short game, it worked for him over the weekend.
Well, a little bit. Yeah. I mean, that's great that you say that. Is looks like we got a little technical difficulty there.
What's happening?
Oh, nothing. Okay. So, this is his deal. He's such a great ball striker. And when he gets a little bit off, which it doesn't really happen very often, that's why he's in contention a lot. But when he starts to miss greens, his really kind of downfall is his short game. And he just hit it so well this week. I mean, it's a perfect golf course for him. He fades the golf ball like what this golf course lends you to do to have some success. And you cut your irons and you fade your irons a little bit. That's gonna hit a little bit softer on the greens. But he was such a superior ball striker this week. He didn't really have to lend too much on his short game. And I know his short game has got better, and it's got a lot better. But he just hit it so well this week that he didn't really have to rely on his short game, as opposed to what Rory McIlroy had to do. He hit it so poorly. He had to rely on a short game coming into Sunday. He had 22 putts going into Saturday. He only hit 7 greens. And then, we bet against Rory on Sunday. We bet Hovland against Rory just for the fact is, man, Rory can't get away with that again. Like, he just can't get away with, hitting it that poorly. And then around that golf course and relying on your short game. And, that was just something that kind of let Rory down.
Of course, as we mentioned, the 1-hole playoff over Denny McCarthy. I really didn't pay a lot of attention to Denny McCarthy over the weekend. I mean, how was where did he lose this tournament? I mean, he was there at the end. Where did he lose it?
He didn't really, well, I mean, if you look at it, man, he didn't lose it. Like, he
lost it on the playoff hole, right?
Well, it's only on the playoff, but he just played so solid. Sometimes it's a 1-hole deal. You just lose the 1 hole. And I don't think Denny McCarthy lost the golf tournament. I think he actually put himself in a great position to win the golf tournament. He just lost in a playoff, right. And if you play this tournament 8 times out of 10, you're probably not going to get the conditions that you had this week. So the majority of the time, if you look at Denny McCarthy's track record of this tournament, he hasn't fared very well just because the golf course plays too long for him. And that's what you saw a little bit at the PGA Championship, right? He had a little bit of contention. And then when that golf course got soft, he couldn't hit it far enough to get some of those pins. So he was always having those 30, 40 footers. And even the best putter in the world, like Denny McCarthy, you just can't make birdies there to catch up. And he, like I said, you look at a golf course like this that plays firm and fast, Denny McCarthy is always going to be a factor.
So let's take a quick break, and then we'll get into some of the rundown of the players here. I want to talk a little bit more about McCarthy. I wanted to talk a little bit about Scotty Scheffler. Jordan Spieth had, I won't say a good performance, but it's better than he's been lately. Rory. And then my boy, Ricky Fowler, who I picked to win this thing, getting a little ahead of ourselves.
And I told you that was a good pick.
Yeah. And he was right there. So we'll get into those. We are FanStream Sports. This is From the Rough. We'll be back after this.
Hello, sports fans. FanStream Sports.
Hey, you like golf? There's a good chance you do, because I said so. But what do you need playing golf? Well, you need clubs. Right? Clubs, you need balls. The thing that people don't usually think about is that golf bag. And that's what most people see when they look at your golf clubs, like right off the bat. And if you've got a raggedy bag, it's not doing you any favors, bud. So get you a new bag. Go over to orca-golf.com. Orca-golf.com. Why are you going there? You're going there because you want a golf bag, but you want one that's kind of screams you. So you want to pick the colors. Well, you can use your own custom colors. Maybe you have a logo in mind. Maybe it's your logo. You're like Prince. You just have a symbol. That's the case. Dude, you can get your logo on there. Your name, just get it done exactly like what you want it done. By actual designers. Nothing goes out of their factory without the approval of the founder, Erica Bennett, who is just brilliant. We've seen some of her bags. We've got one of them actually in the studio. You know what? Dude, it looks good. If you want other people to look at your golf setup and go, man, that just screams Frank. You want that? Then go over to orca-golf.com. Do yourself a favor and use the promo code DSP10 for 10% off and free shipping. I'll say that again, DSP10 for 10% off and free shipping. So do it today, because Orca Golf is the best choice in the game.
Hi, golfers. IndyCarTim here. I want to talk to you a little bit about Golf Central Magazine. It's not just a golf magazine. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Head over to golfcentralmag.com and check out the latest issue. Some of the regular features in Golf Central Magazine: the Golf Bachelorette of the Month, the Golf Bachelor of the Month, the Golf Cart Girl of the Month, Golf History, Grip It and Sip It. So head over to golfcentralmag.com. It's free. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Golf Central Magazine at golfcentralmag.com. We'll see you there.
All right, guys, time to talk a little bit about Turf Life. You've seen the hats on our heads. You've been or seen the video of the studio. You've seen that the decals are all over the place. Turf Life. Man, it's the brand that salutes the consumer and industry players everywhere whose lives involve turf. What does that mean? That means if you play or have a business, or, maybe you're a sports educator, you're going to be on turf at some point. So you live the turf life. So go ahead and tell everybody you live the turf life by having your Turf Life window decal, or, the hat, or the keychain, or the something. Along that lines, just go to turflifeclub.com and become a turf head. That's what it's called when you live the turf life. You're now a turf head. And you can go join the club today, snag that window decal, or snag any other special Turf Life accessories, and go over there to that website, which is turflifeclub.com, and get your stuff and show everybody that, man, I'm all about that turf life. And then you just kind of raise your coffee mug at them and go, yeah, turf life, baby. That's what it's about. And then that's the end of the commercial. Ding. That means it's done in microwave talk.
Hey, listeners, make sure you check out the brand new FanStream Sports in-studio text line. You can reach us during any of our live shows or 24/7 at 214-937-0569. That's 214-937-0569. Text us 24/7 day or night, and we'll reply to you and make you part of the show.
Coming back at you. Now, more FanStream Sports.
Back here on FanStream Sports, we are from the rough. I'm IndyCarTim. That is Johnny the Gerbman, Gerbinator.
That's a new name. You got that's a good name. You're not even been drinking yet, have you? And you mate mumbling.
I need to. That's what I should have done during the break was gone to get me a drink, but
you should have. We still got the fridge there. I haven't been in the studio. We still got the fridge, or did you break it already?
I had to sell it.
Fair.
And the couch. I mean, the front room's just empty. I had to sell everything.
Well, where am I going to stay when I get there?
Well, there's a floor. I got an air mattress at home.
I appreciate it.
I mean, it's got holes in it, but
I'm sure it
that
does.
way you're not on the floor because
thanks.
You don't need to know what's been on the floor.
No, I don't.
So as we talked about earlier, Johnny, Denny McCarthy, second place at 7 under. And I feel like it was on Sunday, it was kind of his tournament to win there on that back 9. He played it pretty well. He had a clutch par save on 12, on 15, on 16. That gave him a little bit of leeway coming down the stretch, but that one dropped shot on the last hole that put him into the playoff was kind of his undoing. Didn't know it at the time, but it was. But I still think for the way Denny McCarthy's been playing coming into the week, if I was going to score his game, I mean, it'd be an A for sure because this is his best finish in a while. Yeah,
if you look at it, I mean, he'll be the first one to tell you, just like any tour players. I mean, he was heartbroken that he lost in that playoff, but I mean, you coming down that stretch, man, 16, 17, and 18. Yeah. Once we look back at the PGA Tour schedule, and we're going to look at the hardest 3 stretches of golf, I'm promising you, Memorial and probably Quail Hollow, that Green Mile that they have, are the hardest 3 stretch holes on the PGA Tour, man. And you're looking at 16 that played 215. You're looking at 17 that played 475. And then you look at 18 that played 495. And, even though the ball's running, there's a very narrow way, and you got water on the left and bunkers on the right. And that hole just played, that played tricks with everybody. Listen, it's just hard, man. That place is hard. Golf is hard. Trying to win on the PGA Tour is hard. But here's what I'm going to say about Denny McCarthy. For Denny McCarthy to have an opportunity to compete and win a golf tournament on this type of golf course, as long as it is 7,500, 7,600 yards, that is a lot of confidence that Denny McCarthy can take in to, going forward on the PGA Tour. I think he's going to take a lot from this. I know he's disappointed that he didn't win, but man, he's got to hold his head up high. And I want to go back a little bit, and I don't know if you really heard the story about Viktor Hovland. So I was out Monday covering the 36 holes USGA US Open qualifier, and I was out there at 8:30, 8:20 in the morning. Mm-hmm. And I'm just kind of walking around, and it's cold, it's chilly, and I'm like, is that Viktor Hovland? Like, what the hell is Viktor Hovland just won the Memorial. He caddied for his college teammate at Oklahoma State, the 36-hole qualifier in the US Open, right after he won the Memorial.
That's a good friend right there.
Is that not like the coolest thing, the coolest story you've ever heard? The guy just won $3.2 million. No pretentiousness. He made a commitment to caddy for his boy for the U.S. Open. 36 holes to walk, that place. 36 holes to walk.
Yeah, carry his bag.
after that grueling week, and it was hot in Columbus for this type of year. It was very hot. Carrying a bag for 36 holes. His buddy didn't play. He didn't play very well. He didn't get in. But, man, that just gives you that tells you the character of Viktor Hovland, man. And, you know, I've always kind of been a fan a little bit. You know, you don't really know a lot about him. He's pretty stoic. He's not really an outgoing personality. You know, he's still a young guy. But when I saw that, and then you hear further on the story about it, man, you got to root for that guy.
Do you think his buddy, after not making the cut for the U.S. Open, do you think he blamed his caddy publicly? He was out there to blame his caddy?
Yeah, 100%. He misread some stuff, and yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he misread some putts. You know, I know both those golf courses extremely well. So yeah, he didn't really blame. I thought it was really cool, man. And you know, that's just a great story that I really hope that continues to get a lot of press.
Finishing in third, the great Scotty Scheffler. I'm sorry, the not so great Scotty Scheffler. 6 under. He just barely made the cut. He was on the cut line, and then he came back and played his final 36 holes at 9 under to put himself into contention. He would have been the first player since Brandt Snedeker in 2016 at the Farmers Insurance Open to win after entering the weekend on the cut line, which to me is an amazing accomplishment. And that's why it doesn't hardly ever get done, right? I mean, good Lord.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's what I'm going to tell you. Scotty Scheffler is going to win this golf tournament at some point. When this place starts playing soft as far and as high as he hits the golf ball, and like I said, we talked about that earlier. You asked me at the preview show for the Memorial what we thought about Scotty Scheffler. I said, well, I think he's got a great chance. It's just all predicated on the weather. And the weather, if it's soft out there, as far and as high as he hits a golf ball, he has a great chance. But when he plays this firm and fast, he's got to take some different lines and hit a lot of irons off the tee. So his big strength is his driver, and it kind of eliminates him a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about Coward Marikawa. I don't even want to say his name right. That's how pissed off I am at this guy.
Withdraw Morikawa?
I mean, how many times have you had back spasms in 100-degree heat?
Every time I'm in them.
That doesn't happen. That usually happens when it's cold.
But I'm not in shape like he is.
Well, apparently he's not in very good shape. So
that can't be the real reason he withdrew.
No,
right?
it's not the real reason. And I can't say this right now what the real reason is because I don't know. But I know. Well, I don't even want to say it.
Well, you started to say it. Now you got to say it.
I can't. Nancy's watching. I can't say it. So
hey, you think he's having wife problems?
I hope so.
You think she said, "Look here, Colin Morikawa, pro golfer. I need you at home right now to help out with these kids. You better get here now."
Well, there's no kids involved, but I was standing right next.
Kids, but her kids.
I was standing right next to her and on the range, so I don't blame him for withdrawing on Sunday. To be honest with you,
is he hitting the ball bad?
No.
He was intimidated by you.
It's very correct. That's very correct. That's what we're sticking with right there. Very, very, very.
You saw Johnny on the course. He was like, "Crap, I got to get out of here."
He was warming up on Sunday. She was right there. I was at the range watching him. He's like, "Man, I better go ahead and change and get out of here real quick."
Honey, we're gonna have an early dinner tonight. Good stuff. We're out of here.
He started yelling at her. I don't blame him though. I don't blame him. I mean, I just don't blame him. But no, in all seriousness, man, that's a joke. But
they walked right past you as they were leaving the course, you were like, "Hey, I got a place for you to stay if you need a place."
But he was our number one pick on the board. I thought it was a perfect golf course for him. He shoots 72, 72, 68. Kind of scrambled it around there, never shot over par. He sat there 4 shots back, and I bet him. I didn't bet him on the matchups, but obviously we bet him at the beginning of the week. And then knowing that 7 under is going to win the golf tournament, I mean, he's got another 68 in his bag. And when he walked from the range to the clubhouse, it didn't look like he had problems with his back. Let's just say that. So, like I said, I don't want to get any lawsuits thrown on us, but that's a little fishy to me, just to me.
Fishy.
Yeah. So, hey, welcome to Columbus, but don't ever come back, Colin Morikawa, when I got my money on the line with you.
Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
That's what happens with those little small guys, man. They get a little intimidated by somebody that, just because
somebody
I can't
like
just because I can't hit the ball as good as he does now. Now, remember I said now. Doesn't mean you gotta that doesn't mean you gotta get intimidated, dog.
I could hit it like Jesus.
Yeah. No. But no, in all seriousness, man, I hope he's fine. It was just very disappointing. I really liked his chances a lot going into that last round. It fit so perfect for him, that golf course going into that last round. And here's why I say that. You look at a lot of those pins, man, how they're tucked. They were tucked on the right-hand side of some of those greens, and he likes to cut that ball and fade that ball. And, I just really thought it set up really good. It was just really disappointing. And to be honest with you, I'm going to expect a check from Cullen. He needs to send me a check for that refund check.
He's got the money.
Oh, apparently he does.
I mean, however much his wife gives him as an allowance, he'll have to send it to you.
He doesn't have the heart, but he's got the money.
One more quick note on Scotty Scheffler. This was his 15th straight top 12 finish on the PGA Tour. The longest streak since who? In 1977, you know?
It's either Jack or Arnold.
Jack had 16 in 1977, so he's one behind Jack.
Yeah.
So let's hope he misses the cut in Canada. He doesn't ever need to tie any records at Jack.
I don't think he's playing Canada though.
Oh, he's not, is he? Why would he? Why would he
I don't think he's playing. I don't think he's playing Canada. So,
all right, well, he needs to miss the cut then at the U.S.
Well,
Open.
he's not going to miss the cut at the U.S. Open. I promise you that. He's not missing the cut.
Well, we can hope.
No, what's your big deal with Scotty?
I don't like him now.
What turned it off for you?
He's boring.
Okay.
And I'm tired of him winning and being 24 years old and looking like he's older than me.
Are you mad because you invited him to the studio and he didn't come in?
I never one time invited Scotty Scheffler to the studio.
Why not? Maybe you'll change your opinion of him if he comes in the studio.
Our buddy Chris Kohler speaks very highly of Scotty.
Yeah, he does.
And that's great. That's great. We love Chris, so but that means we have to love Scotty.
And a shout out to our man Chris Kohler, the head professional at Glen Eagles. He just had another baby. How would he do that? About 4 days ago. Well, some people like their wives, man. Just because you don't like all 12 of your wives that you had, that just does not mean that no one
remember
else
their
does.
Names.
And she's a sweetheart of a woman.
She is. I've met her.
She's great. And hey, hats off to them. Congratulations. It just happened a few days ago, and I'm super happy for him. So looking forward to maybe in a couple of weeks getting back there in Dallas and seeing the new one. And he's gonna be ready for some drinks and get back to the studio. I promise you that.
Don't get anybody's hopes up. You're not gonna be back in Dallas till probably December. Probably the first time we'll see you. It'll be cold by the time you get back here.
Well, I don't really like the way you're talking to me right now.
Hey, don't talk to me like I work for you.
Right.
Jordan Spieth at 4 under, tied for 5th. Incredibly, somehow, he led the field in strokes gained off the tee, which is normally an automatic win for him, but he didn't win. He said that his wrist is fine. That supposed wrist injury, he says it's all fine now, whatever. He's another guy. I'm starting to really not like the local boys very much. It's hard for me to cheer for Jordan Spieth now. It's almost impossible for me to cheer for Scotty Scheffler now.
What's going on with you? You ready to move out of Dallas?
Man, I think I am. I think I'm done here.
I don't know, man. I like
Colby waves by to me. He's like, get out of here.
Yeah. I like the local Dallas boys, man. I think there's no pretentiousness there. Unlike the whole city of Dallas, it's super pretentious. I like those guys, man. I think they're really unassuming. They're not flashy. They're not flamboyant, which is the polar opposite of Dallas and those guys kind of growing up there. But I like Jordan Spieth. I love all the Dallas guys, man.
I used to. I don't know, man.
Did you invite Jordan Spieth to the studio too? And he said no also?
No. I don't have a reason to. There have been 3 professional golfers invited to this studio. All
Bryson?
right?
Bryson?
No.
Who?
John Daly, Max Homa, and Brooks Koepka.
Boy, let's aim a little lower then. I mean, hell.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna go, you might as well go big. Right?
Yeah, that is true.
Let's get Davis Riley up here.
Yeah, that's fact. I saw Davis at the tournament. He was leading the tournament after the first round, man. I was so happy for him, and that just goes to show how difficult that golf course is. He shot 78 the second round, man. But yeah, hats off to Davis. I didn't really say much to him. These guys, when they're kind of in good mode, man, you don't want to give him any bad mojo or stuff like that. But Davis is one of the good young guys out there. He's very, he's very cordial. I'm a big Davis Riley fan, man.
Sure.
And there's big things that's going to happen to Davis Riley. He's one of those guys that is never going to dominate a place, but he has no weaknesses, man. He's going to be on the PGA Tour for 30 years, man, this guy. I mean, he's just one of those types of guys who probably never lose his card unless he comes to injuries. But, you know, he was really cool to me when I was out there, man. And you know, all the best wishes to Davis Riley. I don't think he's playing this week, but I think I certainly know he's playing in the U.S. Open because I think you know, he might have not got through qualifying. I'm not sure. We check that out. Check that out. I don't remember if he had to qualify for the U.S. Open or not, but in a 36 hole, you'd be surprised who has to qualify and who doesn't on their status. But just because he's won on the PGA Tour this year in that team event doesn't get you in the U.S. Open. Now, it gets you in the Masters, but it doesn't get you in the U.S. Open.
2 under, tied for 9th. The man that I had picked to win, Ricky Fowler, his resurgent season, man, continues. I had a segment planned for us the last 3 weeks on Ricky Fowler's resurgent 2023. We've just never had time to do it. I may just have to do my own little Saturday show on it or something. But you know, he took a big step in the right direction this week. He finally found his name in the mix on the back 9 on Sunday. Really the first time since the Zozo last year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that I can think of. He missed a 4-foot birdie putt on the 11th, which would have put him at 6 under, and then he made some pretty crucial mistakes down the stretch. But man, I think he's right there.
Yeah, I do too.
I picked him.
Yeah, I love the way he's swinging at it right now, and I think to go backwards a little bit, he's got his kind of his swing to where he kind of wants it, so he's not so much working on his golf swing much anymore. So that gives him a little bit more time to work on his putting, which was always his, you know, always his strong suit. But he had to work so much on his ball striking over the last few years, he didn't have time to work on his putting. Yeah. So that really kind of hurt him. But, you know, he's one of those guys that you look at the beginning. He's kind of sat there a little bit back, teed off a lot before the leaders. And when the leaders teed off, 8 under par was winning. Like, so how do you think these guys are going to come backwards? You don't really rarely see that on the PGA Tour, that the leaders go backwards. But that just goes to show how hard that golf course was. And in retrospect, right, with Ricky, if he had a crystal ball and he thought 7 under was going to win, might have played a little bit differently, but you just can't do that. I mean, you can't go out there thinking that way, and you just kind of go out there and play your game and see, you know, let the chips fall where they may, as they say. And I know that's corny to say, but you know, it's like that golf course, man. I'm just telling you, I've played there 50 times maybe, and lucky to say that. It's hard on a normal day for the membership, and that's the hardest I've ever seen that place. Like most difficult I've ever seen the place. And I knew it was going to be a little bit tougher on Sunday. So the weather got cooler. It cooled off a little bit on Sunday. It wasn't nearly as hot as the first couple of days. And it was soft in the morning. They got a little rain at night. On Saturday night, they got a little quick thunderstorm. So I know Jack can kind of have those sub airs underneath there, but I was watching like probably the first 15 groups out there, and the greens were soft. Like they were soft. They were spinning. They were making ball marks, and there was only 4 scores under par when it was the softest of conditions. And I said it on 97.1 The Fan when I was out there. I said, would you have 4 scores under par and the softest it's going to be? These scores in the afternoon are going to be brutal. So they're just trying to hang on, man. And like I said, I know you love this type of golf tournament, and Jack was sitting up there with those damn milkshakes, loving life.
Yeah, I bet he was happy about all that. Yep. I mean, and that's one of the reasons I love that tournament. One of these days I'm going to get to go up there with you and then take a walk around with some of these guys. John Rahm tied for 16th. He shot even. Felt like there was a lot of good, a lot of bad for him this week. His iron play is still pretty hot. He had more than 10 strokes gained with the scoring clubs. That ranked behind only Scheffler in terms of strokes gained approach. But his driver, he didn't drive the ball very well. His short game, I think, for the past, 2 months has kind of continued to trend downward, I think. I think his short game's collapsing just a little bit on him. But, I don't know how that works in his head going into the U.S. Open here shortly.
Yeah, a little bit of fool's gold when you say that. His short game doesn't really look that good, but it looks poor just because he hadn't had to really rely on his short game over the past 2 or 3 months because he's been hitting it so damn good. Right. So the short game was just like, oh man, I'm hitting it so good. I'm not really working on my short game. But this is a golf course when it plays this type of way, firm and fast. This hurts John Rahm because it takes the driver out of his hand, which is his strong suit. And, you know, that's a little bit like Scotty Scheffler also, is they're a dominant player when they're able to put the driver in their hands like a Torrey Pines, and it's long and it plays soft. But when you get a firm, fast golf course like this and they have to take that driver out of their hands so it doesn't run through the fairways, it's you know, it kind of negates their skill, and well, not their skill, but their strong suit in their game. And that's why I didn't think John Rahm performed very well. If you look, when John Rahm won, that golf course played soft. If you look, contrary to that, if you know, when during the COVID and they had those back-to-back weeks, right? So they moved the tournament to workday and it played super firm and fast. And that's when Colin Morikawa won it. And then in between, it got really soft. You got a lot of rain. And then that's when John Rahm won it. So that's why I kind of handicapped the event that way. When it's playing firm and fast, Colin has a chance. But when it plays soft, Rahm has a chance. But when it plays firm, it's kind of, you know, it kills kind of John Rahm.
Yep. Then the last guy here before we get into our picks is a guy that I've got a level of concern for here as one of the guys I like, and that's JT. I mean, there's got to be a level of concern even in his camp, right? I mean, this was a second shot golf course. He never even sniffed the cut line. It's his second weekend of mission in his last 5 starts. He just can't piece any part of his game together consistently at any point of the weekend or of the week to get into the weekend. One day he's hitting his irons well, the next day he's not. Same thing with his putter, same thing with his driver. Dude, he just can't piece together his game right now. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and I don't know either. And that's a great question. Here's what I do know: watching him on the golf course, he's frustrated. Like he's very verbal out there, like very frustrated. A lot of vulgarities out there. What he's talking on the golf course, a lot of bitching and moaning, you know, out there, and that just comes from his expectations, obviously. But it's another golf course like him. When it plays this firm, it eliminates his strength, the driver. And I'm not saying that's why he played well, because he hasn't really played well all year. He hasn't had a top 10 finish since he won the PGA last year. And for a guy with that type of talent, man, that's rare. And I don't know. I know his dad came up this week, but I know maybe a little bit his dad has not been able to go on the road with him to kind of work on his golf swing. I think a little bit of life's getting in the way. You know, he just bought that big ass house down in Jupiter. And, you know, obviously getting married, and maybe some of that's going on. I hope that's the case. Mm-hmm. I hope he's not injured, and maybe just life's getting in the way a little bit, but I'm not counting JT out. The guy's got too much talent. I think he's going to have a little bit of a resurgence maybe through this midsummer here and have a good opportunity getting prepped for the Ryder Cup. I think he's going to have, I think he's going to have a good run getting into the Ryder Cup, because he's certainly not, if he's not in that top 10 or top 8 right now in the Ryder Cup points, but he's certainly going to be a pick. And I really look for him to have a really good kind of summer months.
You want to take another quick break before we get into picks? You all right? Okay. We'll take another quick break. Then we're going to recap our picks from the Memorial Tournament up there at Muirfield Village in Dublin. It's in Dublin, right? Yeah, Dublin, right there in Dublin outside of Columbus. We are From the Rough. This is FanStream Sports. We'll be back after this.
Hello, sports fans. FanStream Sports.
Hi, golfers. IndyCarTim here. I want to talk to you a little bit about Golf Central Magazine. It's not just a golf magazine. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Head over to golfcentralmag.com and check out the latest issue. Some of the regular features in Golf Central Magazine: the Golf Bachelorette of the Month, the Golf Bachelor of the Month, the Golf Cart Girl of the Month, Golf History, Grip It and Sip It. So head over to golfcentralmag.com. It's free. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Golf Central Magazine at golfcentralmag.com. We'll see you there.
All right, guys, time to talk a little bit about Turf Life. You've seen the hats on our heads. You've been or seen the video of the studio. You've seen that the decals are all over the place. Turf Life. Man, it's the brand that salutes the consumer and industry players everywhere whose lives involve turf. What does that mean? That means if you play or have a business, or, maybe you're a sports educator, you're going to be on turf at some point. So you live the turf life. So go ahead and tell everybody you live the turf life by having your Turf Life window decal, or, the hat or the keychain or the something. Along that lines, just go to turflifeclothing.com turflifeclub.com and become a turf head. That's what it's called when you live the turf life. You're now a turf head. And you can go join the club today, snag that window decal, or snag any other special Turf Life accessories, and go over there to that website, which is turflifeclub.com, and get your stuff and show everybody that, man, I'm all about that turf life. And then you just kind of raise your coffee mug at them and go, yeah, turf life, baby. That's what it's about. And then that's the end of the commercial. Ding. That means it's done in microwave talk.
Hello, golf friends. It's IndyCarTim from the Rough. I want to take just a minute here and tell you about our new friends over at Orca Golf. They make high-quality PGA Tour grade golf bags, and they're the best in the business. They're the real deal. They're the best bags I've ever seen. They even designed a bag for the Golden Bear himself, Jack Nicklaus. Head over to orca-golf.com and pick up a great bag from their catalog, or let them customize one just for you. You can use your own custom colors, your own logo, you name it. You work with actual designers, and nothing goes out without the approval of founder Erica Bennett. She's just brilliant. Visit orca-golf.com. That's ORCA-golf.com, and use our promo code DSP10 for 10% off and free shipping. Do it today. Orca Golf, best choice in game.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com.
Hey, listeners, make sure you check out the brand new FanStream Sports in-studio text line. You can reach us during any of our live shows or 24/7 at 214-937-0569. That's 214-937-0569. Text us 24/7 day or night, and we'll reply to you and make you part of the show.
Coming back at you. Now, more FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to FanStream Sports and From the Rough, America's favorite golf podcast. I'm IndyCarTim. That is John the Gerbinator, Gerbman, Gerbness.
Wow, that's a new one.
Columbus.
That's a new one. Are you writing all this stuff down?
No, I don't have to write anything down.
Huh?
I didn't write anything down. Probably should have. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was good.
I'm going to have to replay the episode so I can remember what I said.
Right. You'll cut that out. Like, you cut me out most of the time. So,
well, just on the screen. I mean, I've been trying to do more of this right here for the show.
Yeah, don't do that.
I mean, that was terrible right there.
Take that back.
I like that one a lot better right there.
Yeah, why not?
Well, I mean, it's your show.
Well, apparently not. It's you always say it's your show.
I'm just the director.
Yeah.
That's all I do. Let's get into our picks a little bit. Recap our picks from the Memorial Tournament. My picks, of course, are always just for fun. But Johnny, I had a pretty good week.
You did have a good week. You've had a pretty solid year, really. I mean, you're like 2-147. So that's
something
pretty
like
damn
that.
Good for you. That's pretty damn good for you.
You'll never hear me bragging about my record.
True.
Right. I missed on my winner because I had Ricky Fowler, of course, as he tied for 7th. We just discussed him at length. I did hit in my top 10 and my top 20, though.
Yeah.
Because my top 10 was Victor Hovland, who, by the way, I almost picked him to win this. I almost picked him as the winner. And then I saw Ricky. I'm like, no, I'm going Ricky, but I'll keep Victor in my top 10.
Yeah, but the hardest thing we talked about, Victor, and I like Vic, like I said, now I like him even more after the story that you heard. But, It's so difficult around the greens here. If he just gets a little off in his ball striking, and he was number 2 last week. From the strokes game tee to green. So obviously his ball striking was fantastic.
Yep.
But if he's number 15 on tee to green, he's not winning his golf tournament because he has to rely on the short game, and that's not happening.
And then I hit on my top 20 is I had Siwoo Kim, who finished in 4th place at 500.
Good for you.
Man, if I was betting on these things instead of yours, I'd be making some money.
Well, only like a couple weeks. You'd still be in the hole, like, you know,
I'd be so far in the hole. I need to borrow $57,000 that I owe my bookie.
Yeah, right, right.
Johnny's Picks brought to you by Golf Central Magazine, as they always are. Check out golfcentralmag.com for the latest issue. Check out the Golf Cart Girl, the Golf Bachelor of the Month, the Golf Bachelorette of the Month. They talk about more than just golf, though. They're kind of a travel, philanthropy, golf type magazine. So go check them out at golfcentralmag.com. It's a good little thing they got going over there. We're very proud to be associated and affiliated with them. Tell us about your picks, Johnny.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest week as we started off the week with our 4 top outright winners, 2 top 10s, 2 top 20s like we do every week. Coward Morikawa withdrew as he was sitting there 2 shots back of the lead. Very disappointing. We talked about a little bit earlier in the show kind of how he sat there, you know, like I said, you're jokingly at the beginning of the show, but you know, hopefully he's okay. Figured out what he was. You know, I've never seen a back spasm in 100-degree heat, but you know,
maybe he injured himself somewhere.
Yeah, he was doing jumping jacks from the range to the park to the clubhouse. So we'll just shut it down from there. But thank you, Colin. I will send you my address on Twitter that you can send me my refund for your cowardness, and just maybe add a little bit, 30-40% on top of that. That would be
gratuity's appreciated.
Yeah. So our second pick on the board was Terrell Hatton at T12. I thought he played a little bit better. I think he didn't drive the ball very well at all this week. And when he starts driving the ball bad, hitting out of this rough, he just, even though he hits the ball high, it's just tough, man. And that's a part of the game that you just can't do. He tried to overpower this place, which was kind of strange to me. He hit a lot of drivers where a lot of people weren't hitting drivers, trying to push the issue, which I didn't like.
Yeah.
And that kind of got him a little bit in trouble, but no good. I like it. Actually, we'll talk about it a little bit on the second hour of the show. I kind of like him this coming week in Canada, but Sung J M was our third pick on the board. He finished T41. One of the cool parts, and I know this didn't make us any money, but all 8 guys made the cut that we picked. So all of our 4 outright, 2 top 10s, 2 top 20s. So going into the Sunday round, we had an opportunity to really make some good money. And like I said, the golf course won, man, and they faltered. But that's what happens. Our ham sandwich pick, Sahith Theegala, finished tie 58th at +9. Again, man, we're waiting for this guy to break through. I thought it was a good opportunity for this guy to play. We played this tournament as an amateur, as the Jack Nicklaus Award winner, best player in college. And he had a better performance then, making the cut and finishing like T35 than he's ever had as a professional. So maybe a little growing pains. Like I said, this golf course has played different than any, like, majority of the years, playing firm and fast. But still waiting for this guy to break out, man. The guy's got way too much talent not to break out. But again, we'll talk about it a little bit later. I kind of like him on our card this week. Again, as always, 2 top 10s. We just barely missed out on Shane Lowry.
Wow.
Finishing tie 12, man. Just another bad round on Sunday, man. Couldn't hold it in there. He was firmly in that top 10. Couldn't bring it home for your boy.
No.
I didn't like it. And again, same way with Christian Bezuidenhout.
I couldn't find where he finished.
T-dog shit. How about that?
Yeah, because I looked and I couldn't find anywhere on any leaderboards where he was even listed.
He was bottom. He was all the way in the back of the wagon, man.
All right,
so that's the guys that made the cut.
Back.
But another disappointing deal. We had another our top 20 picks. Keegan Bradley finished T32 at +2. He shot 79 in the last round. He was sitting there at 8th place going into the last round. And we sit there and talked on air. It was like, you know, unless Keegan Bradley falls over, barely breaks 80, he's going to win. He's going to make a little bit of money for us. And what happened? Barely broke 80. So I kind of jinxed him maybe a little bit. But, you know, sometimes when you're weird like he is, that gets in the way. And he kind of, you know, he's another one of those guys. I need to give him my address too, because he needs to send a check too. I'm gonna make some money.
You're gonna make some money one way or the other.
I'm gonna make some money somehow. I promise you that on these boys. But no, but you know, that bad performance in the last round for Bezuidenhout and Bradley and even Shane Lowry. 3 of these guys were looking strong. And then Harris English T52 at +9. So not a great week when it comes to our initial picks on the board. We did go 3-1 on matchups this week. So I thought that was great. So we should have went 4-0 with the exception of a double bogey. I believe, I can't remember who we lost on Saturday to give us
on the matchup. Yeah, I don't remember.
To 1-1. And then we went 2-0 on Sunday. That gets us to an astonishing record of 56-17-5 for the year after the Memorial Tournament. So not great at the beginning, losing a little bit of money. We're still a little profit for the year, not nearly as good as we've had in the last couple of years. But, with the exception of this, Colin Morikawa withdrawing, three of these guys finishing right firmly where they're supposed to be to make us some money. I thought it was going to be a great week. But unfortunately, it really didn't happen. But still strong on our matchups, man, and looking forward to going into Canada.
Very good, John. So not a terrible week, but, and again, I wish I could figure out where Christian Bezuidenhout finished. I don't know why I couldn't, but I looked at the same place I looked for everybody else on the PGA Tour website, and they didn't even have him listed as in the I typed his name and searched and everything. I couldn't find anything on him. So
yeah.
But
he's there.
He was there. I mean, I remember seeing him there, so I don't think he died.
No.
But no, let's not yet. So do you want to do the Canadian Open preview, or you want to get into some LIV Golf first?
Let's you call it. What do you think? I mean, well, LIV might take us a little while, man. So you go ahead and however you want to do it.
All right, well, let's get into the Canadian RBC Canadian Open preview here then first, and we'll make sure we leave time for the merger talk, or as I refer to it, murder talk, because that's what it is, in my opinion. It's what's happening.
There's a lot going on, man, and the more we'll talk about it after Canada.
Yeah, let's talk about Canada, as 10 of the top 30 players in the world head to Canada for one last tune-up before the third major of the season. And, I mean, I don't know if there are two more polar opposite places on planet Earth than Ontario and then going to L.A., which is what they're doing, right, at the Canadian Open. And then they're the week after they head to Los Angeles for the U.S. Open. But, with just 10 of the top 30 players, that's kind of sounds like the Canada's version of the Byron Nelson to me.
Yeah, a little bit. It's one of the oldest national championships in the world, and that's the sad part. If you look at this tournament, I think they've been cursed a little bit over probably the last 4 or 5 years with being canceled for 2 years of COVID. Those restrictions up there have been a little bit more difficult than it has been here. And then last year with all the LIV talk, and that was the first tournament of the year for the LIV Tour. This time they're in Canada, and then now this year with the announcements, all what's going on here. So, man, they're the devil's chasing the Canadian Open a little bit when it comes to that, man, which is really sad because it's one of those historic events that the guys like playing. It's a new golf course this year, and they kind of jumped this thing around a little bit over the past probably 10, 15 years, which a lot of guys like. But there's not really a distinct advantage. This is a hilly golf course that they're playing up there. I think they're playing Oakdale Country Club there. It's a 7,200 yard. There's a lot of elevation, a lot of changes. So look for a lot of low scoring like they had last year. If you look at last year, I thought it was one of the most intriguing, fun events to watch on the PGA Tour. Is Rory McIlroy, Tony Finau, and Justin Thomas were kind of down the stretch a little bit. That we're kind of competing for the championship, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. Toronto's kind of like the New York City of the U.S., man. Everybody loves going there, and you say you're from Canada, but you only act like you're from Canada when you want to be. I don't know what you want to be, but
good day, mate.
Yeah, good day, mate. But yeah, man, it's sad, really, that it's such a historic event. Like I said, it's it's second or third oldest national championship in professional golf. The kind of weird part is like there hasn't been a Canadian champion since like 1954. Right. Yeah, and that's strange because back in those days, 1954. I'm not saying. I mean, there might only been 60 U.S. players that went up to play that tournament as a part of the PGA Tour. So, you had more than half the field that were Canadians. Now you don't have that this year. So it really surprised me when I saw that stat that it's been that long since a Canadian winner has won that tournament. And I don't really foresee that, a Canadian winning this year. I got a Canadian as a hand sandwich just for a little, maybe a sentimental pick. I know he's playing well, but like I said, for the most part, I have no problems with the Canadians in the Canadian Open.
Corey Connors, maybe the best Canadian player ever.
No, not ever.
I mean, definitely the best player right now, right?
No, not ever. No, I think Nick Taylor's probably up there with him too. They both won. They've kind of had similar stats. I think they're right there. Corey Connors might be a little bit more in world golf rankings, but I think that Nick Taylor's, I mean, Adam Hadwin's pretty damn good. I mean, I think he's had some success. You look this, next year with the President's Cup being up there in Canada, as Mike Weir is going to be the captain. Maybe look for 3 or 4 of those guys that might be on that team. Certainly Corey Connors with his continued form. I don't see any reason why Adam Hadwin can't make that team and Nick Taylor make that team. So
about Adam Svensson.
Again, I don't see any problem where Adam Hadwin or Corey Connors or no, it's
try to think of Canadians here.
Well, look at
Mackenzie Hughes.
Yeah, Mackenzie Hughes. I mean, you look at Mackenzie Hughes. Look at Taylor Pendrith.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of really strong Canadian guys, man, that are on the PGA Tour. And how about this golf team? Taylor Pendrith, Mackenzie Hughes, Corey Connors, and then Adam Hadwin transferred to Louisville, and they were all on the same team at Kent State. How about that? How about that team? So
I don't think Kent State's known for its golf so much.
Yeah, they are actually. They've always been the best team in Ohio, even better than Ohio State for years and years and years. And that's a testament to Herb Page, who's now retired, and it's kind of taken over. John Mills has kind of taken over the reins, but they'd always kind of recruited that Canadian base and looked at that Canadian national team. Adam Hadwin, like I said, transferred to Louisville just probably because he couldn't make that team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think with Mike Weir kind of did a lot for the Canadian golf. I think there's some other historic guys. I mean, you look at, Mo Norman that people in the kind of golf realm, wasn't a PGA Tour winner or anything like that, but is revered as probably the best ball striker to ever, step on, be born or step on the planet. So, the long history of golf in Canada. The golf courses are fantastic. Obviously, it's a short season up there. The weather is usually pretty good, but man, they're pumping out some really good players, man. And I think Mike Weir was kind of a really good launching pad for some of these younger guys, man, that's coming up these days. So we'll see, man. I think it'd be a cool story if a Canadian wins the tournament this week. And if they do, I hope it's Nick Taylor.
Rory, of course, looking for his 3rd Canadian title, along with some other guys. But again, we talked about Rory and the way he's playing, and I guarantee you, man, I don't expect, and correct me if you think I'm completely off base here, but with the week that he's having, and we're going to listen to we're going to watch some video of him here shortly when we get into the merger talk. Man, he just looks so more, he looks like he has aged 15 years in the last 2 weeks. Man,
I
expect this all to be distracting him from his game this week.
Sure it is. And this is the reason why, like I said, I don't want to jump into LIV talk or the merger talk right now, but he just looks tired, man. I mean, to be honest with you. And I think he had, when I was covering Muirfield Memorial last week, I was hearing some rumblings in the media center. I was like, the merger, we going through the lines. And Rory heard it too. You maybe in the press conference that you'll hear that he's heard some rumblings over the past couple of weeks. So, he's kind of the scapegoat, right? They put his face in. Like I said, I have some pretty strong opinions about LIV, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Rory just looks tired, and I think that's why he kind of not only does his game, he's not really playing well right now, but shooting 75 the last round of Memorial, he looked very tired. You know, maybe some of that talk had come out at that time, and
Yeah.
you know, so many questions and so much media. I mean, he's always going to do a lot of press conferences. And I told you this probably, I don't know, man. I told you this when I covered the WGC down in Austin. I said, for a superstar in sports, and this is certainly what Rory is. Rory's a superstar in any sport. He's the most approachable superstar I've ever been around in terms of kind of his accessibility, in terms of how good he is with his time, how many autographs that he signs. I mean, he is as good as a superstar as I had ever seen face to face when it comes to something like that, man. And you know, and especially with all this LIV talk that's been on his shoulders for the last 3 months, man, it's taken a toll on him, and you know, he just looks tired.
Some other notable players here this week. In addition to Rory, you've got fellow U.S. Open winners Matt Fitzpatrick and Justin Rose. They were both already winners here in 2023, and they look, of course, to keep their momentum going. Terrell Hatton, Tommy Fleetwood will be there. Some young Americans, Sam Burns, Cam Young, Sahith Theegala. But it's all about the Canadians. Corey Connors headlines the Canadians, I think. You mentioned Nick Taylor, Adam Hadwin, Mackenzie Hughes. I had to throw in Adam Svensson there for you, throw a monkey wrench in your list. But, you know, this is the week for the Canadians for sure. The attention will be on them. There is a guy, though, that I would like to make everyone aware of, even you, Johnny, because I don't think you followed this guy collegiately, who is making his pro debut.
Edberg?
And of course, yeah, Ludwig Aberg.
Yep.
Of course, I covered him at length while he was at Texas Tech. And, dude, this dude is the real deal. So, of course, he earned his tour card just back in May by finishing at the top of the U.S. National University rankings.
Right.
He rose to #1 in the World Amateur Golf ranking back in September. He was already #1 on the European Amateur Golf ranking back in April of 2021. He was part of the Swedish team. Of course, he's from Sweden. During the 2019 European Amateur Team Championship. This dude, I mean, we all saw what Sam Bennett from Texas A&M did at the Masters. You know, and that, again, still an amateur, a collegiate player. But, dude, Ludwig Aberg, this dude is going to be a stud, and it starts this weekend. So if anybody out there is looking for a young player to maybe just catch on at the beginning of his career and to follow, he's not going to be on TV a lot. He's not going to be talked about a lot unless he's up at the, you know, of course, up at the front with the leaders. But just follow this guy a little bit and be aware of his existence and what he's capable of. Maybe go back and look at some of his stuff because, man, this guy's got a game that just impresses me to no end. He's got a couple of Big 12 men's championships. He's won the Prestige 4 times. He won the NCAA Norman Regional this year. He's, as I mentioned, back-to-back Big 12 men's championship this year and last year. Jones Cup Invitational in 21. Just accolades all over the place. He was named the Ben Hogan Award winner as the best collegiate player in golf in the United States.
Yeah.
Last year, and then he won it again this year. The second person ever to win it twice. This guy's good, man. And just be on the lookout for him. Just, again, for those that, you know, like to follow a young player, maybe at the start of his career. He's just 23 years old. He'll be 24 in October. But dude, this dude's pretty good. Just watch out for him. That's all.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, I 100% agree with you. He's been on my radar for a long time, and you and I talked about him a little bit before with you covering Texas Tech for Sports Illustrated. He's, you know, as good as their basketball program and things like that, you have a tendency to, he's on your radar a lot, especially with the other sports that Texas Tech's have, but he's always kind of on your radar as kind of a standout guy in Texas Tech sports. But yeah, I mean, he kind of fits that mold, right, of the modern day tour player. He's a big, strong kid, man. He hits the ball forever. He's honed his short game fantastic. I think he's played in probably 5 PGA Tour events, and he's made 3 of 5 cuts. So, I mean, the guy's seasoned, the guy's ready to go, man. And he's one of those plug and play guys that, you know, if he gets enough starts and gets comfortable out there and gets to know those golf courses, it's not going to surprise me at all if he wins really fast. And that's a little bit also is, man, getting used to kind of the PGA Tour life. Maybe this guy needs a little bit of that seasoning a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you, man. This guy's a star in the making. This guy's a future Ryder Cup stalwart for a long time. And yeah, it's good for you to point out. And like I said, he fits that modern day mold, man, of what the PGA Tour is. I was shocked when I was out there on Monday covering the U.S. Open 36 holes qualifier.
Yep.
These kids, man, and I played the lakes and Brookside here in Columbus a lot. And the lines these kids were taking off the tee, I couldn't even watch anymore, man. How far these kids are hitting the golf ball, man. These guys are hitting driver 8-irons in the par 5s that are 560 yards. Like, and taking lines, because up here in Columbus, man, there's a lot of dog legs. You got a lot of old school golf courses, man. And these guys are these kids are fearless, man. And they hit it so far. I mean, I was there. I could tell you a story. There's a hole out at Brookside that is 445 yards. Sharp dog leg right. Trees all the way down the right-hand side and trees all the way down the left if you hit it straight. These guys are going at the green, hitting it over the trees on the right-hand side and hitting it in like the front green side bunker.
Insane.
And they're doing it with they're not even they're fearless, man, these kids. And they're doing it without even thought. And they're hitting it so high and so far, man. And this is the new prototype of the PGA Tour, man. These kids are stronger, they're bigger, their speed is faster. I know we've talked about before how the golf ball has changed, but you know what? The athletes have changed also, man. And that's a bigger thing than anything else, man. And like I said, I don't expect anything but great things from this kid. And don't be surprised, man, if he gets in maybe a John Deere or a Rocket Mortgage that he's got a chance to win. I mean, it wouldn't really surprise me.
Yeah, for me, I think the biggest adjustment for him will be the full-time tour schedule.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Of course, he doesn't have the benefit of playing on the Corn Ferry Tour like some of these other guys did before they made it to the big tour. But let him get a few weeks under his belt to travel. I don't think there's going to be a lick of him having to adjust to playing with these other guys. I don't think he's intimidated by any of these guys. Any of them. He's
not scared. Well, he's not scared because I think he's like 6'4", 225 pounds, man. So like I said, man, you see more and more of these 6'4", 220-pound fit guys on the PGA Tour than you've ever seen before. And they're just the Sahith Thegalas and the Edbergs. And you're just seeing this more and more that these kids are coming up that are like really good athletes. They're not playing football. They're not playing, basketball, man. They're turning to golf and the training's so good. And like I said, he is that mold of the modern day PGA Tour player.
Yeah, that's what they're becoming. So, I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of him coming out for his first
that's great
tournament up in Canada. And we'll see what happens with him. We'll follow him as the show. Maybe we'll kind of follow him a little bit throughout the rest of the season. As far as the top of the odds for the Canadian Open, by the way, we forgot to mention, I think you mentioned earlier, Oakdale Golf and Country Club in Toronto. It is a par 72, as they all should be. 7,264 yards. The purse this week, $9 million. I don't know if that's Canadian or American.
It's American, but you're kind of screwed if it's Canadian afterwards. Yeah. They're taking 40%. So
they do.
And they don't get
pay for everybody's health care.
That's right. But isn't it strange? Like you go up there and you're not even Canadian. You don't know, and you have to pay 40% of your check, but you don't get the benefit of the health care.
Well, I mean, you do if you're there.
Well,
if you get hurt while you're up there.
No, you don't. It's only
you don't have to be a citizen. You can be visiting there.
No, I don't want Canadian health care, to be honest with you. That's why all the great doctors live here.
It's way better than America. I'm just telling you.
No,
way better.
No.
The weather's so much better up there.
Go back up there, eh?
Good day, mate. Heading off the top of Caesar Sportsbook is Rory McIlroy at 9-2. Clearly the best player in the field, but, still maybe looking to find the right form. Not a lot of competition for him, I don't think, this week. But, again, there's a lot on his mind this week, and I don't know that golf's at the front of it, So He's collected 4 straight top 10 finishes at the U.S. Open, and something similar could be in store if he's able to tweak a little bit of his game and get his thoughts together this week. But, I mean, this season's got to be one of his worst, I think, from a driving accuracy standpoint.
Yeah,
I've seen him miss a lot of fairways this year.
You know, it just goes to show, man, how much time has he really been able to put on his game with everything on his shoulders, man, and on his plate. And I feel bad for Rory. I do.
Absolutely.
You know, and this is what kind of pisses me off more than anything is, and we've talked about this a ton before, is none of these other superstars of the PGA Tour has really stepped up like Rory has. You didn't see the Jordan Spieth or the Justin Thomas, and these guys really put it on their shoulders like he did, man. And he sacrificed his game to do this, and you hadn't really seen any of these guys. And I think, I mean, you saw it a few weeks ago. He was just tired of it, man. He was just tired of none of these guys stepping up like him. And it's like, hey, man, I'm sacrificing all this stuff. I'm sacrificing my game to protect the PGA Tour, and you guys ain't saying shit. And I think he was just fed up with it. And you know, I don't like him at all this week, man. I just think there's just too much. And you know, this just goes to show when you start looking at the odds and stuff, Vegas is basing this on sheerly stats.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I was about to say. Like, he's the favorite, but I mean, he kind of has to be, right? I mean, he's playing in the tournament. He's clearly the best player. You have to make him the favorite, regardless of what's going on in his head. Yeah, 9-2 short odds. They don't want to get whacked. They don't want to get whacked on the odds, right? They're just doing it. I mean, like I said, I don't understand why he's 9-2. I don't think he's going to miss the cut, but I don't think he's going to contend either. Man, that would be such a stroke to him to miss the cut up in Canada right before the U.S. Open. I don't know how he would deal with that mentally, you know. So I think that might be his only goal this week, other than maybe working on a few things of his game, to just make the cut. Well, also that might be a goal for him. Yeah, and also, man, you got the U.S. Open next week, right? I mean, right. What's priority? I mean, if he gets off to kind of a sluggish start or just kind of going through the motions, man. Now, I'm not saying these guys bail it in or they don't try, because I firmly think they do, all these guys, man, because they realize that the fans want to come out there and watch them play golf for the most part, whether they're playing good or bad. Yeah. So I don't think they'll bag it in, kind of like situation with John Rahm right after the Masters, that he went to Hilton Head. He was exhausted, played a terrible first round. And the question was to him was like, did you feel like you just wanted to bag it, even though you're not playing well? He's like, no, that's not even in my repertoire. These guys come out here, pay their good money to watch me play golf. I'm going to play as hard as I can. And that's probably a similar situation with Rory. But to be honest with you, would you blame him if he did? I mean, I wouldn't. No, not at all. I wouldn't at all, man. So we'll see what happens. I just don't like him. A new golf course. And again, put this in perspective. Like, it's a new golf course these guys have never played. How much really prep work has he had on this golf course? I mean, it's a little quirky when it comes to some of the elevations, some of the lines. I mean, he's played probably 9 holes and 9 holes. So he's not out there really charting this place or really a place that he knows. So it's kind of a new venue for everyone, maybe except for the Canadian guys. And maybe that's why there's an opportunity for the Canadian guys to win the tournament this week. These guys probably know the golf course better than anyone. We have Sam Burns at 14-1. Feel like it's kind of been an up and down season for him. He, of course, won the match play WGC, but then he missed the cuts at the Wells Fargo and then the PGA Championship. But now he looks like he might be back on an upward trajectory. He T6 finish at the Schwab in his title defense, and then last week at the Memorial T16. Scoring should be ideal, I think, this week up there, and he's going to have a lot of opportunities, but will he be able to cash in? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I haven't got a chance to reach out to his caddy, Travis Perkins, who's a friend. He's actually a Columbus guy here, but yeah, a little up and down year for Sam Burns, winning the match play. I think he's, how do you follow up with such a year that he had last year? He had such a great year last year, kind of a breakout year, and then winning the match play is great, but then kind of faltered the couple weeks after that. So, I don't know, man. We'll see. He's a little Jekyll and Hyde to me right now. Old Sam Burns, he's had some success up there before. I think he won. Didn't he win 2 years? Or he finished well 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years, I think.
He had a good performance, but you know, we'll see, man. It's hard to bet on Sam Burns right now.
Corey Connors, the Canadian, at 16-1. This might be his best hope, right, for a win this week.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of got some momentum after T8. He had a T8 finish at the Wells Fargo, T12 at the PGA Championship. Kind of took a step back last week at the Memorial, but and this might be his best chance at a win this year.
Yeah, another guy, you look at him, he's such a superior ball striker and such a great driver of the golf ball. When a golf course plays firm and fast, it takes the driver out of his hands. And it's, the places that he's had success, he's been able to hit the driver, winning in San Antonio 2 times when it's played windy and kind of soft for San Antonio. But, I look for him to have a good performance, man. I mean, the only thing I could maybe feel that kind of could kind of throw him off a little bit of is maybe the pressure of the Canadian sun, the highest ranked Canadian guy on the PGA Tour. Maybe that pressure is a lot for him. That'd be my only thing. But obviously a superior ball striker. The golf course will set up good for him. It's going to play softer than it did last week here in Memorial. A lot of elevation. He hits the ball pretty high and cuts the ball. So, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. The only thing that worries about me is just, maybe the pressure too much of, being in contention. You'll be the first guy since 1954 to win the Canadian Open.
20-1, our boy Shane Lowry. And Johnny, don't look now, but Shane Lowry may have found something with his putter. He's gained strokes on the greens in the last 2 starts, both top 20 finishes at the PGA Championship and the Memorial. He's starting to look like he's more well-balanced, I think, in his game than maybe ever. He's gained strokes off the tee and on approach in every start since the Masters, and he's played pretty well in Canada. He's got finishes of T12, T2, and 10th in his last 3 trips here.
Yeah, you look at a guy like that, and he next 2 guys we're going to talk about real quick is they're definitely both on our card for a little bit different reasons, but this is one of the most creative guys on the PGA Tour, and I think this golf course has a little bit of a quirkiness that maybe his creativity and the undulations of some of these greens is going to bode well for him when it comes to that. So, look for him to have a really good performance. And again, man, with, a softer field, right? I mean, what do we have? 6 of the top 20 on the PGA Tour, playing this week. It gives an opportunity for a guy like Shane Lowry, who's coming into pretty good form. I thought he played pretty solid at Memorial. I really did. He made a couple big numbers that I really didn't like, and he got off to kind of a slow start. But, I think the creativity on a little quirky golf course like this is going to bode well for Shane Lowry.
Love me some Shane Lowry. And then finally, Johnny, at 28-1, we talked about him quite a bit. We're talking about the Memorial, but Sahith Theegala could be a birdie fest, and he would like that very, very much.
Yeah, I mean, aren't we looking for this guy just to break out?
Soon, right?
I mean, it's amazing. Here's something and we'll talk about this when we get to our picks after the break. Is this golf course is very similar. We had some really good success in Hartford. So I think down the stretch a little bit, very hilly, very kind of undulating greens. I think he's going to take some of that opportunity. Very similar when it comes to elevation. Right. I think they're pretty good on that same longitude, latitude line that they're playing in Toronto, man. So elevation he's going to feel familiar with. And I think with some of the, tee shots that he has downhill, uphills that they're going to face this week, I think he's going to feel real familiar like he felt last year at Hartford when he had a chance to win.
Very good. So we will take another quick break, our last break of the show, and then we're going to get into our picks for the upcoming RBC Canadian Open, my 3, and then, of course, all of Johnny's actual winning picks. And then what everybody's waiting to hear, Johnny's thoughts on the PGA Tour / LIV Golf / DP World Tour merger, what it means, why it's really happening. He's not going to lie to you. We'll talk about it after this.
Hello, sports fans. FanStream Sports.
Hey, you like golf? There's a good chance you do because I said so. But what do you need playing golf? Well, you need clubs. right? Clubs, you need balls. The thing that people don't usually think about is that golf bag. And that's what most people see when they look at your golf clubs, like right off the bat. And if you've got a raggedy bag, it's not doing you any favors, bud. So get you a new bag. Go over to orca-golf.com. Orca-golf.com. Why are you going there? You're going there because you want a golf bag, but you want one that's kind of screams you. So you want to pick the colors. Well, you can use your own custom colors. Maybe you have a logo in mind. Maybe it's your logo. You're like Prince. You just have a symbol. That's the case. Dude, you can get your logo on there. Your name, just get it done exactly like what you want it done. By actual designers. Nothing goes out of their factory without the approval of the founder, Erica Bennett, who is just brilliant. We've seen some of her bags. We've got one of them actually in the studio. You know what? Dude, it looks good. If you want other people to look at your golf setup and go, man, that just screams Frank. You want that? Then go over to orca-golf.com. Do yourself a favor and use the promo code DSP10 for 10% off and free shipping. I'll say that again, DSP10 for 10% off and free shipping. So do it today because Orca Golf is the best choice in the game.
Hi, golfers. IndyCarTim here. I want to talk to you a little bit about Golf Central Magazine. It's not just a golf magazine. It's the magazine for everything. Turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Head over to golfcentralmag.com and check out the latest issue. Some of the regular features in Golf Central Magazine: the Golf Bachelorette of the Month, the Golf Bachelor of the Month, the Golf Cart Girl of the Month, Golf History, Grip It and Sip It. So head over to golfcentralmag.com. It's free. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Golf Central Magazine at golfcentralmag.com. We'll see you there.
All right, guys, time to talk a little bit about Turf Life. You've seen the hats on our heads. You've been or seen the video of the studio. You've seen that the decals are all over the place. Turf Life. Man, it's the brand that salutes the consumer and industry players everywhere whose lives involve turf. What does that mean? It means if you play or have a business or, maybe you're a sports educator, you're going to be on turf at some point. So you live the turf life. So go ahead and tell everybody you live the turf life by having your Turf Life window decal or, the hat or the keychain or the something. Along that lines, just go to turflifeclub.com and become a turf head. That's what it's called when you live the turf life. You're now a turf head. And you can go join the club today, snag that window decal, or snag any other special Turf Life accessories, and go over there to that website, which is turflifeclub.com, and get your stuff. Show everybody that, man, I'm all about that turf life. And you just kind of raise your coffee mug at them and go, yeah, turf life, baby. That's what it's about. And then that's the end of the commercial. Ding. That means it's done in microwave talk.
Hey, listeners, make sure you check out the brand new Fan Stream Sports in-studio text line. You can reach us during any of our live shows or 24/7 at 214-937-0569. That's 214-937-0569. Text us 24/7, day or night, and we'll reply to you and make you part of the show.
Coming back at you. Now, more Fan Stream Sports.
Hello, golfers. Welcome back to the show. This is From the Rough on Fan Stream Sports. I'm IndyCarTim. That is Johnny Gerber, Gerbman, the Gerbinator. Live from Columbus, Ohio.
It just keeps getting better. Just keeps getting better and better.
I do what I can, It's going to be really long by the time, we end the show.
It's not. You don't think it's long already?
It'll be longer. I keep adding to it. So yes, let's get into our picks for the RBC Canadian Open. Of course, every week I pick a winner, I pick a top 10, and I pick a top 20, and then Johnny proceeds to make fun of them before he makes his actual picks. The ones that you're supposed to care about and listen to, because those are the ones that make you the money. So let's get into my picks, Johnny, so you can laugh at them, because I don't think you knew what they were before you saw the run sheet, because I didn't send them to you ahead of time. For my winner this week, go ahead and make fun of me at 14-1. Cam Young.
Oh, we're in trouble.
How bad is that?
We're in trouble.
Why are we in trouble? Oh, that's one.
Because I like him too.
Oh, you know, crap, you do, don't you? Crap, I didn't even see that.
We're supposed to have this code here, right? Like, you texted me this morning where I texted you these picks pretty early this morning.
Yeah, you did. Might have been asleep when you texted those to me.
Well, I guess that's it. I guess that's the end of the show.
I guess that's it. Yeah, we'll see y'all next week. But of course, back-to-back missed cuts kind of sets him up nice for coming into this week. But you can tell everybody why you like him when you do your picks. And then a guy that I don't think I've ever had on my card ever in the history of my life for my top 10. And a lot of people probably aren't going to be familiar with him unless you're fans of the DP World Tour.
Chris Bussell,
my top 20, my top 10. I'm just kidding. John Daly, Adrian Meronk.
Love him.
I like Adrian Meronk at what did I have him at plus 425 for a top 10.
Maybe the best pick you've had all year.
Really?
Yes.
I had to dig deep for this guy too.
He's not in my card this week. But for you where did you find this? Because somebody's telling you some shit, because I know you didn't come up with this on your own.
I love the DP World Tour.
This guy, man, when I told you about him when I was down covering the WGC.
You did.
I said this guy.
First place I ever heard of him was from you.
Him and Sepp Straka. This guy is a monster, man. He's 6'7".
Polish native. He's from Poland.
This guy is a superstar. He's gonna make the Ryder Cup team this year.
He's got 2 wins overseas already this year.
I'm telling you, he's gonna be on the Ryder Cup.
He ranks.
He's gonna play well on the Ryder Cup.
Then everybody's gonna know who he is. Then he ranks 20th in strokes gained tee to green and 15th in strokes gained putting over the last 3 months. And of course, as you mentioned, he is on an inside track to make the European Ryder Cup team this fall. And yeah, big showing here will just bolster that even more, I think. And then in my top 20 at plus 240 for a top 20, the Canadian Nick Taylor. Are we in trouble?
Huh?
We might be in trouble.
Huh?
Yeah, here we go. And then brought to you by
this might
Golf
be our
Central
last
Magazine.
show. This might be our last gambling show.
I mean, unless they do really well.
We're going down in flames.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Johnny's picks brought to you, as they always are, by Golf Central Magazine at golfcentralmag.com. Go check out the latest issue at golfcentralmag.com. Check out the Cart Girl, which is my favorite, and I haven't tried to contact her yet. I'm still thinking about it. Then, of course, you've got your Golf Bachelorette of the month. May try to reach out to her, too. And then, Johnny, I'll go ahead and leave the Golf Bachelor for you.
I was on there once already. I was already the Golf Bachelor I think I was the Golf Bachelor, in February? And then there was Terry got a bunch of calls. Is like, he's not a bachelor.
Because all I ever hear is
I like other guys.
I mean, that's why we're saying that for you.
You can't do that. You're giving the wrong impression, son.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, eh? All right, Johnny's picks. Tell us about your picks, Johnny.
Listen, hey guys, a very disappointing week last week at the Memorial. We had so many opportunities to cash in. Oh, it's just tough, man. It's just tough. It's been a lackluster year, but so good on our matchups, but just a little bit of profit for the year on our overall picks. But back in action this week at the Canadian Open, I like the Volcano Terrell Hatton at 11-1. Not great odds, but I really did like the way he played at the Memorial. I think he got a little out of sorts trying to the strategy that he had. I didn't really like hitting driver everywhere, and he got a little off. He played so well the first couple of rounds, man. I think he really tried to push the issue. I thought he thought 10, 11 under par would win the golf tournament, and it turned out to be 7. So I think he's going to learn from that a little bit. He's playing well. He hits the ball high, likes this type of golf course. Europeans have played well in the Canadian Open. I think he's going to continue to have good success there. Second pick on the board, guys, Cam Young. To be honest with you, this guy is just due. I don't know. He's the biggest disappointment on the PGA Tour this year. You would think this guy's had a couple wins already. Something's going on. Had a conversation live, doing the live shows last week at the Memorial. Somebody asked me a point-blank question. Who is the biggest disappointment on the PGA Tour this year? And I didn't have to think more than 1 second. It's Cam Young. I did. And in my opinion, this guy has so much talent. He drives the ball so fantastic. Last year with the President's Cup success, man, I really thought that would propel him to have such a better year, man. I can't figure this guy out, but why not start now? I mean, why not start now? I don't like his odds really, but 14-1, we can make a little bit of money on him. And I think with the short limited field, he has some potential to maybe take some of that stress off, or look for him to have an opportunity to win. Third pick on the board this week, Shane Lowry, 20-1. Again, as we talked about earlier, man, the creativity this guy has for this type of golf course, playing well in Canada before, kind of familiar with the grass and where he kind of grew up with in Ireland. Man, this guy's in good form, man. Like I said, he played really good last week at the Memorial, and I really think he's going to have an opportunity to contend and have an opportunity to win. He played well last week. Like I said, he played well last week at the Memorial. Look for him to continue his good form. Ham sandwich pick this week, guys. Nick Taylor, 66-1. Pick up sticks. Listen, Canadian guys, all the pressure is going to be on probably Corey Connors is to win this tournament. Highest ranked Canadian in the field. Maybe a little bit of pressure is off Nick Taylor. I think he's every bit as good of a player as Corey Connors. Had an opportunity to win at the team event down in New Orleans. I think he's in pretty good form. I think he's going to thrive to this scenario, kind of holding the Canadian banner on his sleeve. If you have another good pick, take Nick Taylor as the low Canadian. I mean, there's a lot of Canadians in the field, so that's not a bad play. He's probably around plus 250, 275 to be low Canadian. Sure, Corey Connors is probably one. Maybe Mackenzie Hughes is two.
Yep.
Look for him maybe sitting at third spot as low Canadian, but I really like him in a ham sandwich pick with all the pressure on Corey Connors at 66-1. Two top 10 picks this week, guys, as always. Justin Rose at plus 175. The guy's not going to make a lot of mistakes. I thought it was pretty good value at 175. It's a shorter golf course. The ball is going to fly very high. A lot of elevation there. Solid ball striker. I think he's really kind of grinding it out and kind of prepping himself for next week. So I think he's going to be laser focused to have a good performance to maybe propel him into next week. So I really like Justin Rose at plus 175. Second top 10 pick this week, guys, Matt Kuchar at plus 450. Good performance last week here at the Memorial. He's played really solid. The only rub I have about Kuchar is I think you're going to have to shoot really low here to win this golf tournament. But at plus 450, I thought that was really good value, and he's not going to make a lot of mistakes. So I like him in that second spot in the top 10 at plus 450. Two top 20 picks this week, as always, guys. Sahith Theegala at plus 300. Terrible performance last week here at the Memorial. But again, this is another guy kind of like Cam Young. We expect so much from this guy, and it's just kind of disappointing. He has a lot of top 10s, top 20 finishes, but is this not the spot that he kind of breaks through? Maybe.
Yeah.
Again, with his good performance, kind of similar type of golf course that he had last year at the Hartford, when he kind of got his name on the big stage. I think it's a similar situation with here Theegala, and I like that number at plus 300 just to finish in the top 20. And our last top 20 pick this week, Brandon Todd. Todd. If you ever listen to Mel Kiper, we're going to root for Todd all week. Plus 750. Great value here with Brendan Todd at plus 750. The guy's not going to make mistakes. He's not scared to make a bunch of birdies. And I really like that number at plus 750. So that's our card this week. Man, I really like the week. We've been so close, man. I'm really making some good candy. No wins yet this week, but once we get on one, we're going to get on a few. So looking forward to watching an event. Why don't we do this before I get fired up about this LIV? Why don't we take another commercial break if possible? And then I want to –
Your show, you can do whatever you want.
Thank you. Well, that's the first time you've ever said it's my show, and I appreciate that.
It's true.
But I want to collect my thoughts a little bit here because I got a little bit more information. I still have my opinions. I still have my thoughts. I just want to collect a little bit before I kind of express how I feel.
All right, we are from the rough on FanStream Sports. We're going to talk the LIV Golf, PGA Tour, DP World Tour merger. After this, we'll be right back.
Hello, sports fans. FanStream Sports.
Hi, golfers. IndyCarTim here. I want to talk to you a little bit about Golf Central Magazine. It's not just a golf magazine. It's the magazine for everything. Turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Head over to golfcentralmag.com and check out the latest issue. Some of the regular features in Golf Central Magazine: the Golf Bachelorette of the Month, the Golf Bachelor of the Month, the Golf Cart Girl of the Month, Golf History, Grip It and Sip It. So head over to golfcentralmag.com. It's free. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Golf Central Magazine at golfcentralmag.com. We'll see you there.
All right, guys, time to talk a little bit about Turf Life. You've seen the hats on our heads. You've been or seen the video of the studio. You've seen that the decals are all over the place. Turf Life, man, it's the brand that salutes the consumer and industry players everywhere whose lives involve turf. What does that mean? That means if you play or have a business, or, maybe you're a sports educator, you're going to be on turf at some point. So you live the turf life. So go ahead and tell everybody you live the turf life by having your Turf Life window decal, or, the hat, or the keychain, or the something. Along that lines, just go to turflifeclub.com and become a turf head. That's what it's called when you live the turf life. You're now a turf head. And you can go join the club today, snag that window decal, or snag any other special Turf Life accessories, and go over there to that website, which is turflifeclub.com, and get your stuff and show everybody that, man, I'm all about that turf life. And then you just kind of raise your coffee mug at them and go, yeah, turf life, baby. That's what it's about. And then that's the end of the commercial. Ding. That means it's done in microwave talk.
Hello, golf friends. It's IndyCarTim from the Rough. I want to take just a minute here and tell you about our new friends over at Orca Golf. They make high-quality PGA Tour grade golf bags, and they're the best in the business. They're the real deal. They're the best bags I've ever seen. They even designed a bag for the Golden Bear himself, Jack Nicklaus. Head over to orca-golf.com and pick up a great bag from their catalog, or let them customize one just for you. You can use your own custom colors, your own logo, you name it. You work with actual designers, and nothing goes out without the approval of founder Erica Bennett. She's just brilliant. Visit orca-golf.com. That's ORCA-golf.com, and use our promo code DSP10 for 10% off and free shipping. Do it today. Orca Golf, best choice in game.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com.
Hey, listeners, make sure you check out the brand new FanStream Sports in-studio text line. You can reach us during any of our live shows or 24/7 at 214-937-0569. That's 214-937-0569. Text us 24/7, day or night, and we'll reply to you and make you part of the show.
Coming back at you. Now, more FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to FanStream Sports. We are from the Rough, America's favorite golf podcast. I'm IndyCarTim. That's Jay Gerb.
I like that one. That was pretty good.
Pretty short.
It didn't take 37 seconds to do it.
No, we don't have that much time now. We got a lot to get into here.
Yeah.
As it is time to talk LIV Golf, PGA Tour, DP World Tour merger, because in what can only be described as a shocking and historic move, the PGA Tour, the DP World Tour, and Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund have agreed to a merger that will make LIV Golf and those two other entities combine into one tour. It's being described as, quote, a new collectively owned for-profit entity to ensure that all stakeholders benefit from a model that delivers maximum excitement and competition among the game's best players, end quote. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what to think of this. I want your thoughts, but I want to play the Rory video. Can we do that first?
Perfect.
Give you a little bit of time there to even more recollect your thoughts. Here's Rory McIlroy describing how he learned about it and what his thoughts are on it.
I got a text message on Monday night, I guess, from Jimmy Dunn saying, hey, can I give you a call in the morning? So I said, sure. Jimmy rang me at about 6:30 yesterday morning. We had a chat, took me through the news, took me through the deal, the structure of the deal, what it meant for us, what it meant for the DP World Tour. So yeah, I learned about it pretty much at the same time everyone else did. And yeah, it was a surprise. I knew there had been discussions going on in the background. I knew that lines of communication had been opened up. I obviously didn't expect it to happen as quickly as it did. But I really think that, from what I gathered, the tour felt they were in a real position of strength coming off the back of the DP World winning their legal case in London. It sort of weakened the other side's position, and they went in there, and the way Jimmy described it, Rory, sometimes you got 280 over water and you just got to go for it, and that's what they did. And I think ultimately, when I try to remove myself from the situation and I look at the bigger picture and I look at 10 years down the line, I think ultimately this is going to be, it's going to be good for the game of professional golf. I think it secures it unifies it, and it secures its financial future. So, there's mixed emotions in there as well, as there's going to be. I don't understand all the intricacies of what's going on. It's a very, what's the word? There's a lot of ambiguity. There's a lot of things still to be sort of thrashed out, but at least it means that the litigation goes away, which has been a massive burden for everyone that's involved with the tour and that's playing the tour. And we can start to work toward, some sort of way of unifying the game at the elite level.
We appreciate Rory joining the show for us right there for that quick quote. I don't know if you can see I was interacting with him
That was pretty good.
pretty much there. Yeah. So there's Rory's thoughts on it. Again, I feel like he's towing the company line a little bit. He's not going to tell you what he really thinks because he's not that kind of guy.
Yeah, very good.
So what are your thoughts here?
Let me take a breath first off.
Ready, set, go.
You are 100% correct. Rory, here's what really helped Rory. Now, Jimmy Dunn is a massive player in the world of golf. He is the one that set up communications. He's a big deal, and he's one of Rory's best friends. They're confidants. They have business together. Like, this guy is a player. A lot of people that watch this show may not know who Jimmy Dunn is, but he's one of the most powerful people in the game of golf. Second off is for Jimmy Dunn to call Rory McIlroy and say, call me. So Rory McIlroy is one of the first people to obviously know, but not know maybe 2 hours before. Jimmy called him and said, hey, I'm giving you a heads up. This is what's going on. I have two sides of this, right? Jimmy Dunn, obviously, because he doesn't want Rory to just fly off the handle. That's one reason why he called him. Trust me. He's like, hey, man, this is what's going on. Slow your roll. Going to give you a heads up. Well, there's a lot to take in, but listen, man, just relax. Let's get through this. And Rory's going to listen to about 3 or 4 people in the world. His parents probably 1 or 2, and then Jimmy Dunn. So we're going to cut that out. For the people that watch the show, the people that know about golf, and if you don't think this is about money, you're an idiot. First off, it is about the money, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the merger. I'm okay with unifying golf. I'm okay with all this because I firmly believe that all these guys playing in the same tournament is great for golf. Second off is Rory's statement, what he says, that the litigation from the DP World Tour, they won their they won their lawsuit with the DP World Tour. Well, their lawsuit with the DP World Tour was completely different than the lawsuit that the PGA Tour has. Those are two completely entities, and the PGA Tour has a bigger stance against LIV than the DP World Tour. DP World Tour was a fourth party in this whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for them to win, no one really gave a shit if they won or not. Second off is that, well, there's not second off is the PGA Tour, first off, in this litigation was going to go through a lot of litigation. They didn't want to open up their books. They're scheduled at TF 501, whatever the hell that is, in a nonprofit, to where there's some underlining, hiding some things on the PGA Tour that they didn't want to, resolve or come out. So the lawsuit itself was a big player in this whole thing that, hey, listen, we don't want to go through this. We don't want to get our thing in the mud, rang over the mud, this, that, and the other. So I'm going to try to sum this up as easy as possible. I've had 24 hours to think about this. And when this thing came out yesterday morning, I was just like everybody else. I was like, are you kidding me? What, how did this really come about? And no one knew. How does Monahan make this decision on his own and none of the tour players knew about it? I get it, the business economics of it. I get the joining everybody together. And I listen, I'm all for that. I get it. I love it. I think there's a few things that maybe not, people don't think it's a really big deal, but it is a big deal. You and I talked about this the other day, off camera, is the PGA Championship really killed a lot of the lawsuit that the PGA Tour had, or that the LIV Tour was biggest basis of was, listen, we're trying to grow the game. We're trying to get the game bigger. We think if we do it this way, we have viewership that's going to grow the game. That was one of the biggest things in one of those lawsuits of the PGA Tour was like, you're not growing the game. You can't say this is the basis of your lawsuit that you're trying to grow the game. Well, Brooks Koepka winning the PGA Championship kind of proved like, hey, we got one of the best players in the world, and their sponsorships and their viewerships for the PGA Championship was the highest it's been in 20 years, the PGA Championship. But it's not because of Brooks Koepka winning. It's not. It's because of Michael Block. That's why the viewership and everybody was watching. Now, they can't prove that in court. LIV is going to go to them and say, listen, this is what it is. We have the champion. We have one of the best players on. We're growing the game. This is the basis, one of the basis, and one of our arguments about this lawsuit. Okay, I get it. Fine. My biggest discrepancy, and I think everybody on the PGA Tour's biggest discrepancy, is that why weren't the players notified? This is the players' tour. They vote for him to be the commissioner. He's a voted on person. Why did he leave everyone in the dark? What is he hiding? Like, what is he hiding here? Greg Norman didn't know, and I don't give a shit about Greg Norman. I don't care about Greg Norman. But how can he make this decision on his own? Like, that makes zero sense to me. And this is why the players are so, as a player myself, not a PGA Tour. I don't get a pension from the PGA Tour, right? But as a player, you have all these guys that you're giving this whole bill of goods over this past year. Bill of goods to the players. Hey, stay. This is what we're doing. Listen, all these guys are leaving. These guys are, whatever you want to call them. These guys are never going to be coming back on the PGA Tour. This is wrong. I'm supporting you. I want you guys to stick out your chest, support the PGA Tour, forget all these guys. And then you go and do this without any consulting of the policy board or any of the PGA Tour members, and you just go ahead and do this, right? Boy, these guys are mad. These guys are mad. Rory's press conference is his PR guy was like, man, don't blow up. Don't blow up. You haven't heard from Tiger Woods yet, have you?
Nope.
Yeah, because he's getting in that same boat. So the two of the bigger heads of the PGA Tour are saying, personally, it makes Rory look like makes him look like a goat. Makes me like a donkey, like he does.
It makes him look really, really bad.
Really, really, really bad. And he can say all he wants. And there's so much still to come out of this. And again, the unified stuff of the PGA Tour or what's going to be the new PGA Tour or the new professional golf on the biggest stage, I think it's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I think when you have all the best players playing in the same tournament, I think it's fantastic. For him, for Monahan to have the audacity to just make that decision, I think they had to do it fast. I think there was some shit that was leaked that was going to be leaked out there about the inner workings of the PGA Tour that he had to get ahead of. I think the governor, the El Sahi, I think he had leverage on them. I think the PGA Tour knew that they weren't going to win that lawsuit. Those guys are independent contractors. I think there was a lot of negative. I think Rory said, the winning of the DP World Tour, but those are two different things. Those are completely two different things.
Right.
And I think the PGA Tour didn't have any leverage. I think the PGA Tour didn't want their financials to come out because I think they know that they're hurting more than what they believe, that the general public believe. And they weren't hurting. The PGA Tour was not hurting until Jay Monahan took over from Fincham, right? Fincham made those guys a lot of money.
Yep.
And I just think there was so much to come out that was going to be leaked that they had to get ahead of, that they had to make this announcement. And the Saudi fund took advantage of that. They wanted to be players in this game for a long time. It took LIV to get the attention of that. I don't think the LIV Tour is going to be what the LIV Tour is. I think it's going to be a big unified tour, right? I don't think you're going to have what you think LIV is.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Norman's not going to be involved. I promise you that real quick. He is not going to be anything intricately involved of these tours. You have 4 board members. You're going to have Fincham, El Sahi, Jimmy Dunn, and I don't really know the other guy who's actually doing it. I don't want to make up a name, but there's 4 members of this new entity. They're forming a new entity that all these tours are going to be together. PGA Tour is going to still function as a nonprofit. If they really function as a nonprofit, I think that's something that was going to be revealed. They're not really a nonprofit.
Yeah, I think that that's going to be looked at too. Absolutely.
And they didn't want all this shit to come out. So I have a couple questions. And like I said, I'll wait. I mean, these are my opinions. I had stronger opinions yesterday, and I have really strong opinions just how Monahan did it to the players. And, the PGA Tour is a union. You have your union person making a decision for you. A year ago, he's telling you to do this, stay unified, because all these guys just going to play this other tour that's leaving. They have nothing. They're not coming back. They're never going to be able to do it, right? They stand strong. And the guys who bucked up and said, yeah, we're staying strong. Then a year later, you're changing your tune. You're polar opposite of what you said. It's polar opposite of what you said. And then you made a decision on your own to not consult with us all this time through these years to make the decision. Oh, we're with you. You wanted all our opinions. You wanted us to stay strong with you. And then something real quick. You didn't consult us on this. I mean, that's a joke. These guys are pissed, and they have every right to be pissed. So, like I said, there's a lot more that's really going to kind of come out from this. This is my initial opinion. I'm like I said, I think a unified tour is great. I'm not mad about that. I am just mad about the leader, the commissioner of your business, of you as an entity, making a decision for you without you even knowing, and you're hearing this like right off the bat. And then over the past 10 months, you wanted us to stick up for you and stick up for the tour. Man, that's just that's just unloyal to me, man. And I'm loyal to a fault in a lot of things, man. And when you do that, Rory, like I said, Rory looks bad at this. He held his tongue pretty damn good today, man. And I applaud him for that.
Yep.
But he said 3 or 4 times, if I take my personal thing aside, I think it's better for the game. And he's probably pretty right. I'm curious to see Tiger's probably going to have the same stance. He's not really going to say what he really thinks.
Right.
But man, I think how it was handled was never. I think how it was handled should never be handled by a guy in that position ever. That's the worst.
You shouldn't have that much power.
No, not to make that decision.
Yeah.
Why can't you wait a week? Why can't? So there's something that was going to get exposed that he had to make that decision pretty fast. And I think that I think those guys over there had so much leverage over him that he had to make this decision. Now, like I said, there's so much stuff that has to be kind of figured out in terms of how the tours and stuff are going to be structured. But the new entity is going to be for profit. And what happens if, so the PGA Tour in theory is going to be running this. They're going to make the decisions how the tour is. Well, what if the PGA Tour, Monahan, if he's still going to be running this entity, says, hey man, we want to spend all this money on this. And then they say no. Like, and then what? Like,
because he's going to have to answer to the board now.
Sure he is.
He's not the ultimate boss anymore.
Well, the money is all coming from the Saudis, right? That's all. Yeah. That's the investment group, and I'm all for that. I'm all for them investing in the game. But what if they say, "Hey, man, we want to do all this, and we need $100 million," and they say no? Well, I mean, they got control too, right? So you're almost selling your soul to the devil a little bit in terms of that. And like I said, I'm all for growing the game. I'm all for making a unified tour. I love when all the best players in the world together. This guy blindsided the people that made him and are the product of the PGA Tour. And that is my issue. And I've made a million calls in the last couple of days talking to my guys, PGA Tour players, PGA Tour winners. And there's not one of these guys that said, yeah, it was right. Like, no. And when I say right, I'm saying right because they don't know how it's going to be structured.
The way it was handled. Yeah.
The way it was handled was terrible.
And the structure of it, to me, that's one of the bigger questions. And I don't want you to get off your soapbox yet, but like, as far as Monahan goes, he's not the boss anymore at the PGA Tour. He's going to have to answer these guys. You wonder if his job's going to be in jeopardy if they're going to replace him, have the capacity or the power to replace him with one of their little underlings who they can control and will do what they want.
Well, he's going to be in control of the new entity.
Monahan is.
Yep.
Okay, so he's going to be the commissioner of the new.
Yep.
But I mean, that had to be arranged in their under the table discussions, right? Yep. He's like, "Well, my job's safe, right?" And they're going, "Well, yeah, sure it is." While they're staring at each other, going, "Wink, wink."
Yep.
I mean, to me, that's the bigger question. And if I was Monahan, I'd be terrified.
Oh man, it's just I just don't get how you do that. I don't get it. I don't get it, and I don't know, man. These guys are pissed. I mean, I think it affects the big name guys that didn't take that money. I think it affects the smaller guys, the journeyman guys that now you have bigger purses that maybe I'm not going to, bigger fields and maybe I'm not getting in now. Right. And I've been loyal and didn't go. Now you're going to say, I can't play the tournaments that I've been loyal to you because you got all these other guys coming back. Right. I mean, there's just so much, man, that he didn't think through. Like I said, I think he got leveraged. I do. And I think he had to make a decision where something was really going to get leaked, man. And I really firmly believe that. And I just think he made a wrong decision, man. I mean, what's the difference? Like I said, if it wasn't getting leaked, what's the difference in another week? Like, have conversations with your head guys like the Rory and the Tigers, just like you did a year ago when you had all these guys in Delaware.
Yep.
Right. And say, hey, man, this is what we're going to do. Who's in support? Yeah. Do the same thing. Hey, give us your opinion on this. What do you want to do? I don't know, man. I think it's just the personal loyalty aspect for me. Like I said, the growth of the game, I think it's going to be pretty good. Once all this new structure comes out, we'll see. But I just think it was disloyal. I think he lied to a lot of guys. I think he got compromised for money. I think he got a big payday. And these guys aren't going to forget it. Yeah. And the Rory McIlroy's, he's playing the kind of, hey man, let me take the high road now, but I'm telling you, he's madder than hell.
Oh, and he should be.
Yeah, absolutely, he should be. So, absolutely, he should be. So
if you want
that's what I got. That's what I think, man. And like I said, there's going to be more that comes out, and I think there's going to be more comes out how it's going to be structured. But just the morality part of it, as somebody that's supposed to be your leader and taking care of you as your business,
yeah,
I think it's just the wrong way to go.
If you would like to talk to Johnny more about the merger or anything golf related or betting related, you can reach him on Twitter at JGerber PGA Pro. You can also find his profile on Facebook. Find him on Instagram, John Gerber. He's all over the place, and he would love to talk to you more about this. And I'm sure we'll have more information as it becomes available. It's kind of an ongoing story. Supposedly, the PGA players were all supposed to get together. I don't know if they said Tuesday. I don't know if that was yesterday or it's next Tuesday.
They did. They got together
yesterday. Okay.
Yeah, they were all in there, and they all got together, and then they had a players only meeting, and they had a board meeting, and there was more F-bombs thrown in that meeting from what I heard than anything, man, and just a lot of pissed off people because they were just uninformed, right? You got feel like you got backstabbed and you supported something, you got backstabbed.
Yeah. So we will be back on Monday to recap the RBC Canadian Open and Corey Connor's big win up in Canada.
Or Nick Taylor.
Or Nick Taylor, one of those Canadian dudes, or whoever we pick. I don't remember who we picked now. But that's going to do it for us this week. We appreciate you guys tuning in for 2 full hours of golf talk right here on FanStream Sports and From the Rough. I'm IndyCarTim. That is Johnny the Gerb man, Jay Gerbnison. And like I said, we'll be back on Monday. Stay tuned on FanStream Sports there on YouTube and on the stream. Everywhere you can find it for the Colby Sabin IndyCarTim show coming up at 7 o'clock Central Time. Because if you want to laugh, we'll probably talk some LIV Golf there too for you. You never know.
Not? It's a good laugh anyways.
We don't ever plan a show. We just talk about whatever people want to talk about. So look for us there. We'll be back on Monday, 5 o'clock Central this time. It'll be a 1-hour show on Monday. Until then, boys and girls, keep hitting them straight.